What up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Shark here. Happy New Year 2025. Looking forward to what the game's going to bring this year. To start us off, I got a game between two top 10 players. Playing as allies ranked number 1 right now with the Brits is Reakly from Lithuania using the heavy armor battle group. He's up against Nub from the States, ranked number 7, running the DAK, the Battlefield Espionage battle group, which I am seeing more and more these days. What you're going to see here is a little bit of a shift from what has been the DAK meta in 1v1 recently, really focused on assault grenadiers and that mechanized support company. And then for Brits, well, you'll just have to watch to find out. I hope the thumbnail doesn't give it away. Anyway, that's it. On to the video. So down here on the west side of the map, the bottom of the screen, is Nub in blue playing DAK. And then opposite him here in red is Reakly with the UKF. He's on the east side of the map, the top of the screen. And he's going a double sapper opening. Both players pretty much immediately grabbing this +10 fuel. Which definitely, I mean, it makes sense. I go back and forth on this map with just how high the resources are, especially the fuel. I start to kind of question myself if the early fuel prioritization is as important as maybe the VPs. These games tend to be longer because you see the layout of the VPs. It's very rare you get a triple cap unless you are really, really winning the game. And players at this level, this caliber, I doubt we're going to see a really quick game unless one player in particular just throws a unit or two early. So Nub here going Panzer Grenadier, so we're not going to see the standard, or what is becoming the standard assault grenadier heavy build, going Crotchets straight to the second +10 fuel. Panzer Grenadiers up the middle, Panzer Pioneers capping on the flank. And I like this spread, and actually going to see something very similar here from Reakly. So he's going section command post, his first infantry section is out, again moving up through the center, his sappers working on the flanks. Prioritizing a VP early. Panzer Grenadiers hop into green cover here. And they're going to try to close the distance a little bit with this section. I think this definitely works in their favor. And actually, they drop a Model 2. Wow, big hits. And the infantry section backs all the way up, dropping 2 models. But they're just going to hold here. Looks like the P-Grens are going to challenge this. Panzer Pioneers capping the center fuel uncontested at the moment. And we're gonna just kind of stay on this engagement for now. You get a second section coming out as well as a second Panzer Grenadier squad. Crotchets entangling with sappers, but not doing a lot of damage and taking a ton in return. The requirement to basically turn around to drive away has made a big difference in the Crotchets' ability to kite. You see a mine going down here. It's going to get spotted by the Panzer Grenadiers. Yeah, the second section arrives here in the center, and so even model trading, but the Panzer Grenadiers forced away. Sappers forced off by the combination of the Crotchets and in the second Panzer Grenadier squad. And then Pioneers tangling with sappers on the far side. There's no way these Pioneers win this, right? Well, the Crotchets is going to come over and try to help. Looks like the Panzer Pioneers are aiming but not shooting, so weird sight lines. And I like this from Reakly, using that really kind of awkward staircase to get in close range. Oh, 2 sappers go down. That's a huge hit to their DPS. They might go down completely here. Panzer Pioneers going to chase, as will the Crotchets. Oh man, big hits and a sapper knocked out. Meanwhile, Panzer Grenadiers in this section just kind of hanging out in the house next to each other. Huge pickup for Nub early. The sappers are just so powerful in the early game when they can close. And I really thought Reakly had a good grasp of that with the way he was microing there, but a little bit of bad RNG, sappers go down, and the DPS hit when they drop models is just gigantic. So Nub, he's got his light support company out. He's going fire support element, so we're going to see a heavy tier 2 build from him. At least that would be what I expect. Probably into tier 4. Doesn't really make sense to heavily invest in tier 2 and then go tier 3. This section hops out of cover, then hops back in. Panzer Grenadier is going to do the same, but not after they eat a bunch of rounds from the Brits. Crotchets achieves Vet 1. Second Panzer Grenadier squad arrives and shoves his infantry section away. And now Reakly making a more determined push onto the center fuel. Oh no, these Panzer Pioneers caught out of position and melted by the officer with the Webley revolver here. Sappers hop on the opposite side of cover. And honestly, at this range, these Panzer Grenadiers are just going to eat a lot of damage. Now, the Kradschützen comes in, applies that debuff to these Sappers. So that's going to hurt. Assault Grenadiers close the distance now, too. Assault Grenadiers are going to chase, but I don't think they're going to get... Oh, maybe with the height advantage? The Kradschützen will get it, though, for sure. Wow, the Assault Grenadiers got it at max range. Panzer Grenadiers push up on the cutoff here. And Reakly taking a bunch of losses early. Nub sees this, so those guys will get away. And his other infantry here in this pocket on the center fuel. Assault Grenadiers going to close again. Kradschützen going to provide a little bit of a bonus. So now both sections retreat. Blackfurling about to hit the field. Reakly's in a little bit of a pickle here. He's got his platoon command post up. He's still about 10 fuel away from being able to afford a Humber. Kradschützen's going to cap up this cutoff as well. So Reakly is able to recap this. So he's stabilized his fuel control for now. He's not going to lose any fuel here, just munitions. Nub, I think, probably needs to invest in healing soon. He doesn't have a half track on the field yet. Yeah, there he goes with the 2.5 ton med truck. That's the name of it. Blackfurling pops out here. Humber on the way. And I wonder if this Humber hit, I mean, this thing could hit the field and have a huge impact. There's no AT at all for Nub. And this can be one of the problems with this map is because there's so much fuel. If you're Nub, you think, I've cut him off. I've done a good job controlling the fuel. I don't have to worry about a vehicle. But there's so much fuel there that fuel harassment doesn't have the same impact that it does on other maps. Reakly being very patient, pushing out from his base, recapturing this cutoff, waiting for the Humber. He's upgraded one of his infantry sections with a Reakly package, which I really like, and I think honestly provides a lot of additional utility when compared to, say, the Bren. Plus, it's a lot cheaper, and it pairs well with the British veterancy. Wow, that Humber does a ton of damage, and actually, the section frontally penetrating the Flakfurling as well. These Assault Grenadiers, they're going to use a smoke and hide in the smoke. And I think this makes sense. I don't think the splash from these rounds is all that high. Oh, but the infantry section's on the retreat path. I think that's the right choice for Nub to retreat when he did. And this Humber... Oh, man. Two already dropped. The rest of them are going to get away. Half-track gets the field of the Pack 38. Panzer Grenadiers repairing the Flakfurling. The Kradschützen here is just kind of grabbing up territory on the south side of the map. And I like this from Reakly, right? He lost a fair amount in terms of early army composition. So he's got to be very deliberate about his approaches. So he's not really overreaching. You might say, why is this infantry section suppressed when they're in green cover? But the Flakfurling does AoE suppression, so even when you're in cover, you can be suppressed by its rounds. Now the Humber's going to chase the Kradschützen. And I wonder, the Kradschützen, it's just faster. The Humber probably could have tried to chase it into base, but it won't. The plus 16 munitions decap, the Flakfurling forces infantry section away. Panzer Grenadier is going to continue to shoot at it. Oh, this could be bad. This Reakly section could go down here to the Flakfurling. Oh, but some good RNG, and it actually doesn't take a whole lot of damage from that burst. The Flakfurling's going to let it go wisely. Humber comes in. Oh no, Nub doesn't see it. The Humber, no vehicle survival kit. He doesn't act. There you go. There's the Vet 1 ability. And the snare comes in. Oh man, the Humber's got just a sliver of health left. Assault Grenadier square off with... Oh no, the Humber grabs the Krodschützen as well. Nub's going in for the kill. One rifle round from one of these Kar 98 should be plenty to do it. And now a Vickers and a boys AT section on the way out. Oh no. Nub's got the Pak 38. It whiffs. Oh my gosh. And now all this support coming in. That Pak 38 is almost certainly going to be decrewed. Another snare in on the Humber, and that's it for the Vet 2 Humber. But this Pak 38 is definitely going to get decrewed and stolen here by the Brits, especially with the Vickers supporting. That Pak 38 taken. Another flak fling on the way. Man, this is that was a rough series of engagements for Nub there. Really well played by Reakly, recognizing that Nub wasn't aware that his flak fling was in contact. Vickers is gonna suppress. Oh, Nub might be able to pick up. Yep, he picks up the Pak 38. Reakly with the armored commander. He's going for the Crusader AA tank. This is going to be a problem. Another Pak 38 being built. Oh, the half track providing the combat arms bonus, so that infantry section knocked out. Sapper's doing a lot of damage. I think this Crusader is going to hit really hard. Oh no, another flak fling about to go down for Nub. Knocked out, and now this Panzer Grenadier squad getting chased. Vet 1 ability triggered for the Crusaders. Just going to drive right past. Well, they throw a smoke. I really like that play. The Crusader, instead of pursuing into the base, just going to whip around. And honestly, that could have been it for Nub. So I don't think he'll ever really know, or Reakly will ever really know how lucky Nub was there. Nub is now locked in the battlefield espionage, and he's unlocked plunder, so we're not going to see any transfer depots. No other indicators that he's chosen this battle group. He's got a bunch of the command points, and if he is going to go heavy with the Pak 38 build here, I think it makes sense for those incendiary AT munitions. But both players have just thrown so much into the meat grinder right here. Panzer Grenadiers force off this section. Assault Grenadiers find the Crusader as it's being repaired. Pak 38 in the rear. It's kind of set up, but he's going to attack, move this forward. Reakly says himself, what a weird game. I agree. This is played out very differently than we're used to seeing from these players. Both these guys not very mistake prone, but a combination of some like weird RNG, some weird retreat paths. Very light army composition on both sides right now. Another Pak 38 on the way out for Nub. A stolen one out for Reakly. He's also got, yeah, I was gonna say, he's got enough resources. A second Crusader hits the field. And the upside, Nub has a couple of these Panzer Grenadiers on the field. So he has the ability to snare. He's just unlocked the incendiary AT munitions. So he might actually be well positioned from a composition point of view to deal with these Crusaders. Oh, Vickers sets up right in front. Pak 38 pushed back by the Crusaders. Oh no, the double Crusader on the retreat path, and a really weird retreat path for these Panzer Grenadiers. First salvo comes in from the Pak 38s. One of those Crusaders takes a ton of damage, but the Pak 38 is forced to back up into HQ. One Pak 38 cleared. And now infantry have moved all the way up. Oh man, just when we're the recce section already coming in. Smart play right on the edge of the headquarters sector. Pak 38s need to recrew. Nub has a ton of fuel, but hasn't gotten his tier 4 built yet. So there won't be any Panzer 3s to counter this. Wow, the recce already coming in on the light support company, that's going to be just kind of a pain. And now Reakly has cut off Nub. Nub's infantry going to push out. I think he's frustrated. I'm just guessing based on the chat. I'm really impressed. I'd say I'm really impressed with Reakly's ability to kind of battle back from his early losses. Oh, Crusader's stuck and spinning in place. One more shot from the Pack 38 will do it. They're gonna set up, but won't be able to get the shot off. And I love this good use of the Vet 1 ability to increase the fire rate. So that's one thing with the recent patch, the AT guns now take 2.5 seconds to set up. So whereas before with the 2-second setup, you might have been able to attack, move, and reliably get a shot off. Now it's definitely rewarding players who deliberately set up, give specific move and setup orders to their anti-tank guns. Now in that situation, I don't know that you do anything differently because you're in kind of a meeting engagement, but that little change in the setup time saves that Crusader. Really interesting. So Reakly has gotten a sapper back out on the field. No Panzer Pioneers for Nub. And so I really think mines. Some of these sappers can start throwing down mines everywhere. Right? Obviously, Nub doesn't need them for repairs. But without a sweeper on the field, a couple well-placed mines could really, really throw some of Nub's plans kind of aside. Especially, he just gets his tier 4 out. He's got a P3 on the way right now. Oh, look, it looks like the Assault Grenadier is going to plunder this wrecked flak for lane. Vickers in the back suppress the Panzer Grenadiers. Reakly also now going for the infantry training, which is a huge boon. He's got a 3rd section back out again. Oh, what did... would be proud, boys. These Assault Grenadiers bugged out when they tried to plunder. That's frustrating. Because that's a bunch of wasted time. Vickers burst comes in. The Assault Grens are already in green cover. T-Gren's going to try to move up to the wall here. 2 AT guns in the back trying to protect against the push from the Crusaders. E3 is here now as well. So Nub now has some answers. Oh, there they go. They pick up the STG-44. He's just got the 1 Pack 38, or Reakly only has the 1 Pack 38 that he stole. And now Nub unlocking armored reserves, which I think makes sense to me. Let's see. He doesn't have any of the DAK armory upgrades, which that's one of the benefits of relying on P3s and then the armored reserve P4s. If you've invested heavily into those armory upgrades, you benefit pretty significantly as those vehicles hit the field with a lot of capability. He's got some spare manpower, but he's very close to another 80 fuel. So I imagine we'll see another P3 here. And then I would bet that once Reakly sees those, he'll probably refit those Crusaders for something a little bit upgunned. Now a 6-pounder out for Reakly. First shot comes in on the P3. The Crusader's going to chip away at the Panzer Grenadiers. The infantry section, oh, smartly, he backs them out the back door to retreat. This P3 going to need help for repairs. This is smart. So Panzer 4 hits the field. Not much more expensive than the P3 when you can use the Battlegroup call-in, and he gets an extra squad of Assault Grenadiers with it. Plus the additional performance of the Panzer 4. So I like this choice from Nub. And this is why I really like the recce sections for the Brits. You get the additional kind of with the scope rifle, the additional damage to units in cover. Your veterancy gives you additional damage to units out of cover. You get the flare for the additional sight, which really helps. He has probably recognized that Nub has gone espionage from the plundered weapons. Oh no, these Assault Grenadiers gonna get run down here by 2 Crusaders. The P3 is gonna come over to try to distract the Crusader, but down to a single. Oh, and they had just picked up that STG-44. Oh, big hits from the Pack 38s. Good trade for Nub. Yeah, I'll definitely take a Crusader for an Assault Grenadier squad. These Panzer Grenadiers may be in a little bit of danger from the infantry section here. They're such low health. Yeah, and they retreat. Panzer III continuing to chase this Crusader. Now, there's one AT gun. You can kind of see it on the mini-map on the way over. And it'll line up a shot here. Big hit. P3 remains at Vet 1. One more hit. The second Crusader knocked out. Can the P3 escape without getting snared? And looks like he is going to get away. P4 in the middle to support. There's this other AT gun here, though, so if Nub is not careful, Reakly might be able to sneak this out. Oh, he's rolling right past it. The AT gun set up. Oh, but the AT gun resets. Wow, if this P3 gets away. Worth noting, Reakly has unlocked the Black Prince. Oh, this AT gun decrewed by the P4. The six pounder from up top chipping away. Pack 38 gonna be recrewed by the infantry section. And now Black Prince on the field. There's P3 immediately going in for repairs. VP is about even. Reakly with a slight advantage. KD is even. Although Reakly has 2 more vehicle kills. 2 of those are flak filleting, 1 a half track, 1 a Krotschützen. So not high consequence versus the 2 that Nub has picked up, which are both Crusader AA tanks. The Black Prince, obviously super powerful. Reakly just now teching grenades. So that would be why there was no snare that came in on the P3. This P3 is still on hold fire. Hopefully Nub notices that before he gets into another engagement here. The lack of mobility of the Black Prince, I think, makes a little bit of a liability in this map, depending on where you go with it. So I'm really interested in how Reakly makes this unit work. Flare out over the cutoff.
Enemy forces have claimed our sector.
P3 now fully repaired, off hold fire as well. This is where those incendiary munitions from the Pack 38 are going to make a huge difference, and just continuing to burn down the Black Prince's health here, assuming that they penetrate, which is a definite issue. I would almost, maybe a flak would be really nice also, because it would help, the flak 36 would also help with the recon already that this Battlegroup's going to hit. Oh, big hit. These Panzer Grenadiers need to get out of here. Volley comes in, 1 shot bounces, 1 does penetrate though, so the incendiary munition is going to work. Oh, that infantry section escapes with just a sliver of health. 6 pounder chipping away at the P3 here. And so there's just enough overlap that it looks like you have clear line of sight between the 2 players, but the Pack 38s can't see. Now, we've gotten... Nub has done good work here, so emergency repair kits and the vehicle survival package teched. So that's an additional 120 health for all of his vehicles and the ability to self-repair. That's huge. Assault Grenadiers now on the flank working on this fuel. Oh, these Panzer Grenadiers don't want to clump up. No, they're going to hop behind the shite blocker. Wow, both shots onto the Black Prince bounce. Now we see 2 AT guns on the flank. P4 bounces 1 shot. Yeah, with the infantry training and the recce package, the Panzer Grenadiers are going to struggle against these infantry sections unless they're basically already in cover when the engagement starts. They'll be alright at decrewing these AT guns, but anti-infantry is going to have to come from the vehicles. Yeah, there we go. 6 pounder getting whittled away, but the P3 already down to half health. 6 pounder decrewed. Oh, Sticky comes in on the P4. That section will almost certainly get away. Black Prince has found the Assault Grenadiers trying to decat this fuel. They're going to retreat. Oh, they take a ton of chunk damage. Sappers are in position to wipe these Assault Grenadiers on retreat. Black Prince shot whiffs. Wow, and those assault grenadiers gonna get away. AT guns, both of them recovered and moved back. So big kind of nothing burger engagement for both sides. Some manpower bleed, but no serious losses either way. Nub going for another. He thought about another P3, and I don't see. I can't see the timer in this format with how much when his next. Okay, so he's not on cooldown, so he can call in. You know, he gets the 400 manpower. He could call in another P4, which would also give him the assault grenadiers. I think he is waiting for the Tiger. He's very close to the fuel required. He got about another minute and a half in terms of manpower. And that Tiger can square up with the Black Prince, especially when supported by those two Pak 38s. Still no Panzer Pioneers. Reakly's gone for a second Sapper with a Minesweeper. Which is interesting because Nub has nothing on the field that can actually lay mines. But you do get the extra repair rate with the Minesweeper kit. Oh, these assault grenadiers, they're clumped up. I was going to say, they back out before they take another shot from the Black Prince. Pak 38 shot hits, and so the Black Prince forced to back up. Two tanks on the flank here, whittling away at the infantry section. Now the Black Prince is going to move up again, being repaired on the move by the sappers. A snare coming. Oh no, the disruption operation throws off the snare. No, I got that wrong. The snare comes in on the Black Prince. Engine critted. Sapper and section escape with just a sliver of health. Now the P3 and P4 coming in, looking for kills. Oh, the P3 in danger from these double AT guns. Black Prince taking a ton of damage, gets knocked out by the Pak 38s. Huge pickup for Nub. The disruption operation, that's really good use of it. P4 knocked out by the double AT gun. The Panzer Grenadiers continuing to push. Vickers in a great position to suppress the P-Grens, but not before they clear the Pak 38. Infantry section going to pick this up. The P3 should consider getting out of there before it potentially gets knocked out. Man, very high value disruption operation there. Although Nub really has not really able to turn it into map control. And while he killed the Black Prince, the army composition doesn't look that much in his favor. In fact, I feel like Reakly is still kind of in the driver's seat here. Nub looking to expand on the south side of the map with some assault grenadiers, Panzer Grenadiers pushing. Pak 38's back in the base, healing up a little bit. Yeah, Nub is definitely waiting for this Tiger to come out. Reakly basically can immediately get another Black Prince as soon as about 2 minutes worth of manpower. Vickers triple vet at this point, finds these Panzer Grenadiers and pins them. Assault Grenadiers not in a position to really help. Recce section already comes in on the opposite Panzer Grenadier squad, but they're forced away, and they're actually doing a lot of damage to this 6-pounder as they advance. Oh, double vet sappers getting close. They clear the other AT gun. Or clear that AT gun. Got so many AT guns. And the 6-pounder knocked out. Tiger hits the field now as well. I think we're going to see another Black Prince here in a minute, so we'll definitely get to see the Tiger and the Black Prince go toe to toe. We've seen the infantry training, the grenade package for Reakly. No additional upgrades for Nub, but that makes sense. He was saving for the Tiger, wouldn't want to invest some manpower. Oh, wow. Mine immediately hits the Tiger. No sweepers on the field, so Tiger's got to already back up for repairs. P3 moves in, gets snared, takes a hit from the Pak 38. Another shot incoming. It penetrates. but the kill shot, basically unable to get it off. That's the advantage of all those upgrades onto that P3. That extra 120 HP almost certainly saved it. Nub continues to find mines. Oh, he's Vet 3, and you see he immediately gets a Panzer Pioneer. The Vet 3 infantry section, even at short range against the Assault Grenadiers, well, they were winning. Now they're about to get out DPS. Mano a mano, yep, and they're going to retreat, and actually both sides retreat. Panzer Grenadiers on the flank, they could, they can't. They can't plunder this Crusaderette because they already have 2 weapons. Same with this Panzer Grenadier squad, so it looks like we'll have to see the Assault Grenadiers move up. Tiger's gonna hold in the middle here. P3 still is kind of self-repairing in base. And now Black Prince, the second Black Prince. Man, I feel like all the games I've casted of Reakly's recently, he's gotten multiple Black Princes out. KD finally tilted a little bit in the DAK's favor. Remember, for the good general indicator whether or not the DAK are winning or should win a game is how high their KD is. You're normally looking for KD of about 2 to guarantee that you're trading appropriately. Wow, Black Prince bounces an 88 round from the Tiger. Pack 38s move up. The Pack 38 in the rear, meanwhile, penetrating the frontal armor on the Tiger. Black Prince continues to bounce shots. Tiger is down to half health and needs to back up now. Yeah, Assault Grens plundering these wrecks over here. This is probably going to be, what, a BAR? No, a Thompson. They have 2 Thompsons. So, good for them. It's some additional close range DPS. I think, you know, I'd rather have the STG to give them some mid and long range damage, but Black Prince going to challenge this 1VP. And actually, I like this approach. If this is how Reakly's going to play this, use the Black Prince to lock down the North VP and then flex the rest of his force elsewhere. Big hits coming in. These Assault Grenadiers doing a lot of damage. Infantry section forced away. Wow, big shot from the BP that just doesn't do a whole lot of damage to those Panzer Pioneers. Wonder what Nub's next move here is going to be. Looks like P3 found yet another mine. Good thing he's got the Panzer Pios out. He starts another P3 for construction and then cancels it. Man, I'm kind of torn. I think maybe a walking Stuka to help deal with the remaining AT gun, the Vickers, some of the infantry that Reakly has. Tiger takes a couple of hits before it starts to back up, so all the recent repair work for nothing. Oh my gosh, this P3 hits another mine. His engine damaged again. 2 more Panzer Grenadier models get knocked out because of a mine. These Panzer Pioneers just need to be everywhere. Yeah, I feel like Nub is waiting for another Panzer IV, which will have better penetration, better health. I would love to see him tech the tungsten core ammunition to just help him guarantee that he penetrates this Black Prince. Oh, the attack round does splash damage onto the Black Prince. The incendiary AT munitions, I love that. That really helps the DAK deal with some of these vehicles. Looks like Sapper's continuing to lay mines. And they're going to push on this southwest VP. Meanwhile, Nub is kind of set up. I feel like he's mainly just waiting to get his army composition to where he wants it to be. Alrighty, so he's hit 400 manpower. Big hits in on the infantry section with the P3. Oh, those Assault Grenadiers. Yeah, they immediately retreat. Churchill belching smoke. Another disruption operation comes in. This should help the P3. It gets around the 6-pounder. 6-pounder cleared. Now the Tiger, with some additional support, going Black Prince hunting. Here comes the snare, but only cruise shotgun engine crit, but it might not matter. P3 on the flank here. The P3 knocked out by the Black Prince, but one more shot from the Tiger. How's Black Prince knocked out? Tiger hits Vec 2. Vicar is good positioning to suppress the Panzer Grenadiers, and now 2 AT guns shooting at this Tiger. It's backing out to the flank. Is still chunking away. P4 hits the field. Oh, sappers. Vet 3 sappers on the flank with the flamethrower. Throw a grenade. You don't want these Pack 38s to lose their veterancy. Actually, Reakly's got a whole crew hunting for this Tiger. One Pack 38 cleared. P4 here. Snare coming in on the P4. Now with 2 AT guns, he needs to back out. Nub's got almost 500 munitions, so he can definitely afford to use the vehicle smoke. Vickers pops up to suppress these DAK infantry. Oh man, if Reakly only knew the Tiger was just right off to the side. Oh, big grenade assault comes in, clears one of the AT guns. P4 is going to get away. One AT gun destroyed by the Soul Impact 38. Infantry section going to pick up the 6-pounder. Does he see? I feel like he still doesn't see this Tiger or hear it somehow. Which is crazy to me. Reakly could have killed that Tiger if he had just known it was there. But he's still got the VP advantage. Nub down to 130. And doesn't look like he's really in a position. He's going to send this Panzer Grenadier squad to push on this other VP. Pioneer's on the way out to help repair this Tiger. I must have misread the army. Unless he lost a Panzer Pioneer squad in that last engagement, I must have misread. Yeah, no additional tech here from Nub. Or from Reakly. Recce artillery coming in, so the VP will be decapped, but the artillery will deny it. Can't believe 2 Black Princes on the field for Reakly and 2 dead. It's still on cooldown, looks like. Oh, and he has enough resources. We're going to see another one as soon as the cooldown is taken care of. Nub capturing across the map. He is also not really hurting for fuel. So big combined arms force here for Reakly. I think this is why I'd like to see the walking Stuka. One good walking Stuka barrage onto these AT guns could really kind of flip this entire fight, especially now that the Tiger is back out and at full health. Panzer 4 is here. Panzer 3 on the way. A couple of shots, but they both bounce. Another disruption operation. I love this. Good use. No spotting for those AT guns. Some more already coming in to dissuade the DAK push. Oh, this infantry section. Fortunately, they get out of range of the assault grenadiers. Oh, P4 is just continuing to chip away at this section on the flank. Nub's got the VP, at least he's got 2 of the 3, has the opportunity to grab another one here. And the 3rd Black Prince hits the field. Is the 3rd one the charm? At this point, based on army composition, I'm going to say probably not. But there's still plenty of room for Reakly to flip this around. Ooh. Couple big hits onto the P4. P3's here to help, but P3, that was the mine that I heard. P3 engine critted. Couple sappers get chipped away at by the P3, P4. Tiger's here. Sights the Black Prince. Big hit. Black Prince's first shot bounces. Now Pack 38 shot comes in, the incendiary munition. Oh no, the sappers just get evaporated. Oh no, the third Black Prince just immediately smoked. Reakly's gonna call the good game. Yeah, I think that would do it for me too. So well played. Okay, starting off here with Reakly. What he essentially does is goes 2 sappers into 3 infantry sections, and then a Humber. And then from there, he's really playing the heavy armor battle group. So he gets a Vickers HMG out, 2 Crusader AA tanks, Texas infantry training, Texas grenade package. And from here, it's really 3 Black Princes and an AT gun. And that's it, right? So when you don't build tier 4 as Brits and you play the heavy armor battle group, your options are essentially go Crusader and then go Black Prince. When they change the battle group, the Churchill production from tier 4, it's a little redundant with the Matilda. I got to kind of look stat for stat. I know the Churchills are better, but it fills the exact same role, and so you don't get anything beneficial out of it. When the Crusaders hit the field, there is a little bit of a power spike there, but Nub is able to weather that and force the game to go into the late game. And the Black Prince, we'll talk about a little bit later, but it just really struggles with its lack of mobility getting into the game, especially on this map with its clear lanes. All right, for the heavy armor battle group, obviously he goes for the vehicle, veteran cruise, Crusader AA tank, the Black Prince, the light vehicle withdrawal and refit, the radio net, and the Reakly arty. Doesn't really use any of those abilities on the right side of the battle group there. It's really all about the left side, the veteran C, the Crusaders, and the Black Princes, obviously. And then here for Nub, we're really seeing a big balanced DAK build here. You can see the build order itself is much longer. So he starts with Panzer Pioneers, Kreuzschützen, 2 Panzer Grenadiers, into the light support company, fire support elements. That's when he gets his assault grenadiers, his first flak filling out, the med truck. He does the Pack 38 mechanized group call in. So again, 275 manpower for a Pack 38, which normally costs 280, plus the 250 half track. The assault grenadiers are the best option for this right now, since they're normally 300 manpower. You get them for 275 as well. So just kind of keep that in mind. We're talking like 25 manpower here. It's basically one model being reinforced. But when you're in a faction that says manpower strapped as the DAK are, it can be really important. Gets replacement flak filling, gets 2 more Pack 38s. With this battle group, Pack 38 should be your go-to for anti-tank, right? The Martyr doesn't really make a lot of sense. And so you see that he doesn't go mechanized support company at all. I think there are some other routes where the mechanized support company can work with this battle group, but those incendiary munitions are so strong and a little bit tilting sometimes to get hit with them, but the extra damage is so strong that the Pack 38s really should be your bread and butter when it comes to anti-tank. Gets his tier 4, goes P3, then armored reserves, and then the Panzer IV assault group. I really like this. He doesn't have a ton of the upgrades. In fact, he doesn't have any upgrades yet for his vehicles. But the Panzer IV, especially when it's fully upgraded from the DAK, is really, really potent. It's not designed to beat the Black Prince, but it sure as hell doesn't have any issues with the Crusaders. From here, he takes some of his manpower, techs, emergency repair kits, and vehicle survival package. So that's an extra 120 HP on his vehicles. Good choices. Normally against Brits, you also like to see the penetration buff, the tungsten core ammunition. Calls in his Tiger, and then gets another Panzer IV assault group and another Panzer III at the end of the game. I think that is how I like to see it. I know there are a lot of guys that like to just play with P3s and P4s, but if you've got a Tiger, right, 7-minute countdown on the half-track deployment system. So keep getting Panzer IVs out, and then if you need something to hold you over in between, Panzer IIIs, and then walking Stukas to deal with team weapons, really, really capable. So smart builds here. As far as the Espionage battle group, he goes for the Funkpanzerwagen, obviously the incendiary AT munitions, Operation Scorpion. I have yet to see anyone use this at a high level. I'm sure it's cool. I have to do some testing with it because, like the disruption operation, it's not very obvious from your point of view as a player what it's doing for you. Then on the disruption side, he gets the Intel disruption beacon, plunder, which he uses aggressively throughout the game, and then the disruption operation, which again, it appears to be used really well. It's just really hard to tell, both from a caster point of view and from the player using it, how effective the disruption operation is at preventing your enemy from seeing and from firing. All right, so a few takeaways from this match. And first off, I kind of enjoyed it. I know Reakly said a couple minutes in, like, wow, this is a weird match. Lots of early losses for both players. And I think that changes kind of the nature of the game because your endgame army composition looks like a lot of replacement units and not a bunch of high vet kind of starter units that you get from the beginning. I think the loss of the 2 sappers early for Reakly really hurt him. That's a lot of map presence. And while the sections are good, they're kind of slow and methodical, and they like to engage at range. And so they're not really good for owning large portions of the map. And then as a general rule, against good players, right, like these early losses, early squad wipes are really tough to deal with. And they can tend to make players kind of like overreach trying to get trades in return. So this is a little bit different. I know Havoc in his recent video talked about playing Farragy and maybe being a little too respectful. I think in this case, both players were kind of willing to throw haymakers early, and it set them up for like a really weird mid game and late game. The mid game, especially when neither side had more than like 4 or 5 units. So it creates some really interesting matchups and makes map control and map presence really that much more valuable. But I think, yeah, the actual takeaway here is 1, don't lose units early. And then 2, if you do, just be realistic in setting your expectations for your ability to control the map and continue to try to set up favorable engagements rather than trying to spread out the map with fewer units and running the risk of additional kinds of losses and poor trades. The build that Reakly used for heavy armor, it's one of those things that like when it's used really well is insanely effective. Crusader A tanks have a huge power spike, especially when you get 2 of them. They're very mobile. You can really, on some of the wider or longer maps, run down units on retreat, as we saw in this game. What I would say, though, is Twin Beaches is a weird map for that. There's so much fuel on the field that even when you think you have good fuel control, your opponent is still able to tech, right? So those 2 Crusaders hit the field, and then a P3 shows up, and the P3 is a really, really good counter to the Crusader A tanks. And then the way Reakly was built out without his tier 4 relying on the Black Prince, he doesn't have kind of the natural counters to P3. And so I almost think, I know he wants the map presence. You can go either way on this, right? Like Crusaders are really good at moving around the map, harassing, counter harassing, but they also become a liability. So there's an argument to be made for saying, okay, this is a cool idea. It's not going to work. Let me tech tier 4. Let me refit these tanks and get out some Crusader 2s or a Matilda, something that can hold up to the P3 and the P4. They're almost certainly going to hit the field until the Tiger shows up. And now you have the Black Prince, or you have access to everything else that you need. You can get grants to deal with the Tiger. Speaking of the Black Prince, right, it's really cool when it hits the field. It's just so slow. It really lacks mobility. The DAK Tiger, you can get a bunch of upgrades that further increase its viability. And it appears, I know based on the last update, the patch notes, the AoE and the damage should be really similar between the Black Prince's gun and the Tiger's gun, but it really just doesn't feel like it hits infantry as hard as the Tiger does. And so when you have that vehicle, it's basically an anti-tank role, but its fire rate is very low. It does a lot of damage, but fire rate is very low, and its mobility is really low. When you have a player with really good micro on the DAK side, move in, take a couple shots, back out. Plus you've got the disruption operation. Plus you've got the incendiary munitions on the Pak-38s. Nub just had the answer to the Black Prince. And so I think continuing to spam that button probably did not do Reakly any favors. And then the last thing, and this is kind of tying back to the first point, veterancy is really, really important in Orchid Spider, especially getting those Vet 3 units, keeping your team weapons alive, not overextending them so they can ramp up veterancy. The replacement units as they come on the field just really struggle to keep up in terms of performance, when if they had been alive from the beginning, obviously they'd be significantly overperforming. Interestingly enough, between I think the vehicle veteran crews and maybe the Black Prince's veterancy is a little low. Maybe it's the fact that it was fighting other veteran tanks and there's that veterancy catch-up mechanic. Will the Noobs put out a really interesting video on veterancy if you haven't seen that. The Black Prince would get into one engagement and like be Vet 2 or Vet 3. And so even though he had 3 of them out, he accumulated a lot of veterancy on those tanks very, very quickly. So one thing to keep in mind is kind of an argument for the Black Prince. Probably makes more sense in team games than 1v1s, except as kind of like that final hammer stroke killing blow. The Crusaders, I think they can work. They work better if they're on a map that's a little bit lower resources, a little bit wider, maybe something like Faminville, and if you have significant fuel control over your opponent. Because those Crusaders can really harass like a lone AT gun, infantry squads without snares. They can do a lot of damage. And against a DAK heavy build, a DAK like light vehicle, assault grenadier build, they're really dangerous. The problem is on this map, Nub had the fuel to get the units out to deal with them. So I think it can work. It just didn't work in this instance. Again, Twin Beaches, we talked about it. Fuel harassment is just not as effective, right? There's too much fuel on this map. You have to really aggressively harass the opponent. And I just don't see it work all that often. That means that your focus should be on defeating the enemy's unit composition, right? Winning the tactical fight, that will lead to overall victory. This is compounded by the fact that it's the 2-in-1 VP setup, so it just leads to longer games if you're trying to win on VPs. So getting the big like collapse the pocket, destroy the enemy's army, force a surrender, that is the best way to win on this map. I know I just did the John Madden thing. We're like, score more points than the other team and you win. But that's the takeaway from this, is a 40-minute game between two top 10 players. So that's about where we're at. That is all I got for this one. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.